On a quiet evening in the small town of Maplewood, the peace was shattered. It was April 14th, 2019, when the police received a shocking call. A body had been found. The nearby residents were in disbelief. How could such a crime happen in their safe town? Maplewood, known for its friendly community and beautiful parks, suddenly turned into a scene of horror. The victim was a 35-year-old woman named Karina Mitchell. She was a beloved teacher at the local elementary school. Karina was known for her warm smile and kind heart. Students admired her, and parents trusted her. She loved to organize school events and help children learn. Now, the town mourned her loss. Many wondered how someone could harm such a good person. The crime scene was situated in Maplewood Park, where Karina often went for walks. Her body was discovered by a couple walking their dog. They stumbled upon the horrific sight early that morning. The dog barked, prompting them to check the area. When they saw Karina, they knew something was very wrong. They immediately called the police, who arrived quickly, trying to piece together what happened. As the sun began to rise, so did the tension in the town. Ambulances and police cars filled the park, flashing lights casting bright colors on the somber scene. Officers set up yellow tape around the area, signaling that this was a crime scene. Many neighbors gathered, straining to see what happened. They whispered among themselves, nervous and scared. The initial shock began to turn into questions. What led to Karina's untimely death? The press arrived quickly, cameras flashing as they tried to show the world what had happened. Reports mentioned how Karina had celebrated her birthday just last week, surrounded by friends and family. They talked about her active life in the community, making her death feel even more tragic. Some people speculated on what could have happened in the moments leading to her death. More questions arose. Was there any connection between Karina and anyone who might want to harm her? What kind of person could do this? Was it random or planned? As investigators began collecting evidence, everyone in Maplewood felt the weight of uncertainty. The town now lived under a dark cloud, fearing for their safety and eager for answers. At this early stage, it was clear that every detail was essential. The police urged anyone who might have seen something to come forward. Until things became clear, the residents of Maplewood remained uneasy. They sat on their porches, glancing at each other, wondering who could be next. In the distance, the sounds of sirens echoed in their minds, reminding them of the tragic event that changed their lives forever. After the shocking discovery of Karina Mitchell's body, law enforcement quickly moved to investigate. The Maplewood Police Department formed a special task force to handle the case. They knew this was serious. Detectives arrived at the crime scene to gather evidence. They worked carefully, wearing gloves to avoid leaving fingerprints. Every piece of evidence was important. The officers began by taking photographs of the scene. They wanted to capture everything about the area. Investigators searched for any clues that might explain what happened. They looked for footprints, clothing, or anything unusual around Karina's body. Next, they collected samples for forensic analysis. This included hair, fiber, and fingerprints. Each detail could bring them closer to understanding the crime. Detectives also started to review surveillance footage from the nearby park. Security cameras were precious tools in investigations. They hoped to see who had been close to the park on the night of the murder. This footage could show important movements, helping them find potential witnesses or suspects. The police asked the town for any personal recordings made by residents near the area. Journalists arrived on the scene, eager for details. They sometimes reported more than the police could share, but their presence helped keep the community informed. Reporters interviewed neighbors, searching for hints about Karina's life and any problems she might have had. Was she in danger? Did she have enemies? These questions were essential for the public to understand. In the midst of the investigation, detectives began focusing on certain individuals. Behavior often revealed much. They found someone acting very nervous about the news. His name was Jake, and he lived nearby. Jake had once been a student of Karina's. Friends of Karina noted that he had seemed troubled in recent months. He would often stand by the park, lost in thought. This caught the attention of investigators. Why was he often at the scene? As the investigation deepened, inconsistencies arose in Jake's stories when detectives interviewed him. He claimed he did not know Karina well. However, some evidence showed they had had several interactions. This raised a red flag for detectives, leading to further questioning. While looking into Jake, the police heard about another person. This person was a man named Tom. He had been missing since the time of the murder. Tom had a history of conflict with others in the town. Witnesses recalled hearing him argue with Karina about a project at the school. His disappearance made everyone more worried and suspicious. Was there a connection between him and Karina's death? As days passed, fear grew among the residents of Maplewood. They often saw police cars driving through the area. Community members whispered about the latest updates. Their hope rested on the shoulders of the detectives working tirelessly to find the truth. Controllers felt determined to solve the case and catch whoever was responsible for Karina's death. The community bond grew stronger as they worried together. They attended vigils, honored Karina's memory, and supported one another. The tension was high, but hope remained alive. Each day brought new possibilities for finding answers. The investigation showed that hard work and cooperation could lead the community to justice. As the investigation continued, detectives began to uncover hidden clues and find patterns that seemed connected to Karina's tragic death. They learned that years earlier, there had been similar cases of missing people in Maplewood. Some of these cases were never solved. Each time, families waited for answers without closure. The police compared these old cases to the present, hoping to find links. Searching through old reports, detectives focused on a man named David who had lived in the area years ago. He had been involved in incidents that raised suspicions in the community. Detectives also found something strange about Karina's last days. Friends mentioned that she had been feeling uneasy. She told them that she thought someone was watching her. This detail worried the police. They had to know if this feeling was connected to her death or if it was just stress from her busy life. In the weeks before her murder, she had received strange phone calls. Some were from unknown numbers, and a few were from individuals she did not know well. The police worked to track down these calls, hoping to find important connections. However, the investigation also faced many challenges. Right when detectives thought they were making progress, they ran into false leads. One witness claimed to have seen a person running from the park on the night of the murder. However, later discussions revealed they were confused and might have mistaken the timing. The police knew that unreliable witnesses could lead them off track, wasting valuable time. Media pressure added another layer of complexity. Reporters were eager to publish news, often spreading speculation without full facts. Their stories affected the investigation. People began to panic, fearing a killer was on the loose. The detectives remained focused, but knew the stress affected the community. Fear made it hard for residents to trust. They questioned their neighbors, worrying that anyone could be a suspect. The tension in Maplewood grew as conflicting reports emerged. Some residents believed the police should focus more on Jake, while others pointed to people not yet questioned. Rumors spread like wildfire. The detectives had to stay calm and lead the investigation without getting distracted by whispers in the town. They began re-interviewing witnesses to clarify details. In one interview, a neighbor recalled seeing a white car parked near the park on the night of the murder. This was an essential detail that had not come up previously. The police worked to find out where this car came from, searching for more leads. Each lead ignited the hopes of the investigators and the community alike. Despite these complications, the detectives believed that one crucial clue might break the case. Every detail captured from interviews and evidence played a role in piecing together the mystery. The frustration of false leads and unreliable witnesses only focused their determination. Investigators knew they had to remain on the path to finding justice for Karina. With each new day, the hope would bloom, holding on to the belief that they could make sense of this tragedy. As the community stayed united, they trusted their local police officers to find the truth and honor Karina's memory through diligent work. After weeks of tireless investigation, detectives received a critical piece of evidence that changed everything. A lab report arrived, revealing DNA found at the crime scene matched a man named Tom Lawson. Tom was the man who had vanished just after Karina's murder. This revelation shook the police and the community. Why had Tom's DNA been at the park, and what did it mean for the case? This unexpected discovery shifted the direction of the investigation toward Tom, who had once seemed like only a strange coincidence. Detectives quickly moved to find Tom. They reached out to his family and friends, desperate to learn more about his whereabouts. As the investigation continued, they gathered more evidence about his possible motives. Interviews with people who knew Tom revealed troubling behavior in the weeks before he disappeared. Some mentioned his strange arguments with Karina about school events, while others said he felt ignored and disrespected by many people in town. Adding to the mystery, one eyewitness claimed to have seen Tom at the park on the night of the murder. His actions seemed suspicious at that time. The police worked to confirm all the details. Could Tom have been angry with Karina? Did he believe she was part of the problem? These questions pushed detectives to proceed with caution. As they built a more complete picture of Tom and his connection to the crime, law enforcement prepared to arrest him. The detectives planned carefully. They wanted to ensure the arrest was safe and contained. With each detail that fell into place, they became even more hopeful that justice would soon be served. On the day of the arrest, detectives tracked Tom to a small home on the edges of Maplewood. In the bright morning light, they surrounded the house quietly. They knew it was essential to approach with care. The tension in the air was thick. Officers breathed deeply, focused on the task at hand. Detectives knocked on the door firmly while announcing their presence. When Tom answered, he appeared surprised but not frightened. His calmness raised more questions. The detectives moved to arrest him, explaining the reason for their presence. "You are being charged with the murder of Karina Mitchell," one officer announced. The arrest did not create chaos, which was a relief for everyone involved. After a few moments of silence, Tom seemed to accept what was happening. As they led him away, he showed little emotion. It felt more unsettling than reassuring. While police escorted him to a waiting car, he made an unexpected comment. "I didn't mean to hurt her," he said softly, almost as if talking to himself. This statement sent shockwaves through the detectives. Did he confess, even if indirectly? Or was it just an excuse? Every officer at the scene recognized the complexity of the case was far from over. The discovery of Tom as a suspect and his strange remark opened many new questions. Was Tom the murderer, or was there more to this story? As the investigation continued, many awaited answers to the growing mystery. The community held its breath, hoping justice would bring clarity soon. The shocking twist changed their perspective on what was once a heart-wrenching tragedy. After the arrest, Tom Lawson was taken to the police station for questioning. Detectives hoped to understand his mindset and motives. The room was simple, with a table and 2 chairs. Bright light shone down as officers sat across from him. The tone was serious and tense. Everyone knew the stakes. At first, Tom appeared calm, but his body language suggested otherwise. His hands were fidgety, and he often looked away when speaking. Detectives began their questioning, asking him about that night in the park. "What happened with Karina Mitchell? You were seen near her by witnesses," one officer asked firmly. Tom took a deep breath, and although he was struggling, he denied any wrongdoing. "I didn't hurt her," he said. The pressure started to build as his denial kept stretching. As the questioning continued, Tom's cool front cracked. He began to admit small details, trying to shift blame elsewhere. His tone changed. He started to point fingers at others. "There are others who wanted to hurt her," he said, desperate to create doubt about his involvement. This tactic was clear. He wanted the police to look away from him. It seemed he was afraid of taking responsibility for his actions. As the detectives pressed him further, moments of silence followed as Tom thought about his answers. His psychological state showed through as he revealed hints of regret and fear. "I didn't mean for it to happen," he blurted out at one point. There was a mix of emotion in his voice. Was this guilt? Was it just a way to gain sympathy? Tom's statements dragged the detectives deeper into a complex web of half-truths. He mentioned feeling overwhelmed by life. He shared stories of difficult relationships and a sense of being lost. "People made me feel terrible," he claimed, as if trying to gain some understanding of his choices. But the detectives were not swayed. They needed clear answers about his actions that night, not an explanation full of excuses. Finally, Tom's demeanor began to change under the pressure of interrogation. The tension in the room became almost unbearable, and his anxiety grew. This showed how the weight of the situation affected him. He began to talk faster, his speech slurring slightly. The detectives sensed a breakthrough might be near. Once more, they circled back to details about his time in the park on the night of the murder. "You were angry with Karina over the school project," said the detective. "Did that anger lead to something worse?" Tom's eyes widened, and for a moment, he hesitated. The walls were closing in. This tension led to another heated moment, and then Tom shouted, "I didn't want to kill her! It was an accident!" The words hung in the air. This was the first time he proclaimed something that felt like him acknowledging he was indeed involved. With that statement, he unlocked a door to the truth, though the exact meaning remained unclear. His shocking twist left everyone in the room wanting more clarity. Questions arose. What did "it was an accident" really mean? Did he truly fear facing the consequences? The detectives knew they had to continue seeking the truth behind his claims while honoring the severity of the case. The investigation took a new turn, but it was going to be a long road ahead to uncover all of the secrets buried within Tom's mind. The legal process began soon after Tom Lawson's arrest. The community was eager to see justice for Karina Mitchell. The trial date was set, and tension filled the air as the court proceedings approached. The victim's family, heartbroken by the loss of Karina, prepared themselves for what was to come. They hoped for comfort and answers through the legal system. Families often watched trials closely, filled with emotions as they faced the reality of their loved one's tragic end. On the first day of the trial, the courtroom was packed. Many in Maplewood wanted to hear the details of what happened that night. The atmosphere was somber, filled with sadness and uncertainty. Detectives and lawyers explained the evidence collected during the investigation. They shared DNA findings and eyewitness testimonies. They aimed to paint a clear picture of the events leading to Karina's death. Every word was heavy with meaning, as people in the room sought to grasp the truth. As the trial continued, shocking testimonies emerged. Witnesses spoke about Karina's interactions in the weeks leading up to her death. Some who knew her mentioned the changes in her behavior. She seemed worried, often confiding in friends about feeling watched. This information added depth to the case, showing that there were signs something was wrong. The emotional weight in the courtroom became palpable. Her family quietly wept, recalling the vibrant life Karina once lived. Tom's defense presented unexpected arguments. They claimed that the DNA evidence was not enough to prove his guilt. They spoke about possible contamination at the crime scene, casting doubt on the testing process. The audience listened carefully, trying to understand how legal strategies worked in such a serious case. They hoped the truth would stand strong against doubt and confusion. One dramatic moment occurred when a key witness took the stand. This person knew Tom well and described their past friendship. They revealed a moment of heated anger between Tom and Karina. The tension grew as they remembered the fight. "Tom was very upset with her," they said, making everyone's heart race. Did this anger mean something more? As the testimonies continued, it became clear that emotions ran high. Many questioned why Tom acted the way he did. Was he truly guilty, or was there more to this story? The judge tried to maintain control in the courtroom. Both sides pushed hard to present their views, and the jury paid close attention. As the trial moved forward, the case began to touch the whole community deeply. Residents discussed the events daily. The conversation sparked change in Maplewood. Many talked about safety, the importance of supporting each other, and trusting in law enforcement. There was a growing awareness of violence and crime, often unwanted topics in the town's peaceful atmosphere. Ultimately, the trial and the emotions surrounding it brought new connections within the Maplewood community. People rallied around Karina's family, showing support and unity. The trial represented not just the fight for justice for Karina, but also the hope for awareness and change for everyone. The weight of the courtroom experience would leave a lasting mark on the community. It would take time to heal from the pain, but fighting for justice had become a strong point of connection for many. The trial of Tom Lawson quickly became a high-profile case in Maplewood. Media coverage exploded as news outlets reported on every detail. Reporters from nearby cities came to witness the trial. Their cameras captured the emotions of Karina's family as they attended each session. The plight of the victim resonated with many people, making this case a matter of public interest. Articles filled newspapers with headlines that echoed the fear and sadness felt throughout the community. As the trial progressed, public opinion seemed to shift back and forth. Some people believed in Tom's guilt, while others felt he was being treated unfairly. The community was divided, and lengthy debates filled conversations at work and in homes. Some questioned the reliability of the police and the evidence presented. This led to a sense of confusion and frustration among residents. Would justice truly be served, or was there the chance of a miscarriage of justice? The media drove many of these discussions, spotlighting details from court testimonies. They reported on the strong emotional reactions from Karina's family, which brought the human aspect to the forefront of the case. Emotional stories about Karina's kindness and dedication to her students helped people remember who she was beyond just a victim. This added to collective grief and made many feel even more invested in the outcome. As the trial reached its conclusion, some local viewers, and even those from afar, started creating conspiracy theories. They speculated about hidden motives behind Tom's actions and questioned the evidence presented. One theory suggested there might be a cover-up involving others in the community. Theories varied widely, muddying the waters of the investigation. The detectives felt the pressure coming from the outside. They had worked hard to gather evidence and wanted to ensure the truth was not overshadowed by rumors. Despite lingering doubts within the community, the jury ultimately delivered a verdict that shocked many. They found Tom guilty of the murder of Karina Mitchell. The court erupted with mixed emotions. Some cheered for justice, while others could not believe the outcome. Questions still loomed in the minds of those who weren't entirely convinced by the evidence. After the trial, media attention continued to follow the case. In many discussions, the emotional toll on Karina's family and the community became the center of focus. Activists and leaders in Maplewood began organizing forums and discussions about domestic violence and community safety. They wished to honor Karina by ensuring that such tragedies did not occur again. While most felt a sense of relief that justice had been served, some wanted to dig deeper. New investigations began focusing on the community's safety and mental health awareness. Many wondered how issues of violence could be addressed directly. This ripple effect changed conversations and behaviors, encouraging the town to be proactive instead of reactive. Ultimately, the trial of Tom Lawson left an indelible mark on Maplewood. The fear, anger, and hurt remained, but from those feelings arose a newfound commitment to healing. The case did not just end with a verdict. Instead, it initiated a promise among many to protect their community, ensuring Karina's tragic story would never be forgotten. The future would be challenging, Yet the community felt stronger together, facing obstacles head-on and raising their voices against violence in any form. The case of Karina Mitchell's murder came to a close with the conviction of Tom Lawson. Many in the community felt a sense of justice when the jury found him guilty. The trial revealed deep emotion and pain. However, it also raised questions that would linger in the minds of many people. Was the evidence strong enough, or were there still doubts about the case? Some individuals felt uneasy even after a verdict was reached, wondering if all the facts had been fully explored. Tom's sentencing brought some closure to Karina's family. They had fought hard for justice, attending every day of the trial. Their determination to seek justice was admirable. Yet, even with a guilty verdict, their grief remained. How could they fully heal from such a loss? Karina's memory weighed heavily on their hearts. The deep scars would not vanish with a judgment. The impact of Karina's case echoed beyond the courtroom. Discussions about community safety, protections for women, and awareness of domestic violence ignited at local forums. Activists rallied together. They sought to ensure that crimes like this would never be repeated. Outdated laws related to domestic violence received fresh scrutiny. Officials began examining ways to improve safety measures in Maplewood and other towns like it. How could policies change to protect the vulnerable? Despite the outcomes of the trial, unanswered questions persisted. What made Tom act the way he did? Was it pure rage, or were there deeper psychological issues at play? Understanding the motivations behind his actions opened spotlighted conversations regarding mental health and the importance of addressing issues earlier. It served as a reminder that violence often stems from untreated emotional pain. This trial also shone a light on the importance of mental health awareness in communities. Many who heard about the case started to think about how to support their friends and families better. Could more proactive measures prevent such tragedies? The need for community resources to address not just physical safety, but also mental well-being became clear. As time passed, the public retained a focus on Karina's case and its implications. Could justice ever truly be fully served? While Tom faced a sentence for his actions, true healing was an ongoing process for Karina's family and friends. Her story showed the need for people to come together in the fight against violence, making safety a priority rather than an afterthought. Karina Mitchell's case serves as a crucial reminder of the importance of community engagement. The tragedy urged people to speak out against violence and support one another. By raising awareness about missing persons and wrongful convictions, we can work together to create safer environments for everyone. As communities reflect on what happened, they become better equipped to prevent and respond to violence. This case continued the conversation about justice, ensuring Karina was not forgotten. The task now lies with all of us. How can we make our world a safer place for those in need?